Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We're going to do the Facebook Live. We're going to do the audio recording simultaneously. I can't believe we're in your driveway.
We're in my driveway.
I can't believe we're in your driveway. It is Car Con Carne, the world's only food podcast recorded in a car. This podcast is sponsored by Boost Mobile. Everything I do is on my phone. Everything we all do is on our phones, and I'm so glad I'm on Boost Mobile's unlimited plan. Unlimited talk, text, and data. I love it. My whole family's on Boost Mobile. You can go to any of their locations, or, I got my phone. I got my Samsung Galaxy S9 phone from boostmobile.com. Why don't you do the same?
It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
And look at this. I'm in the driveway of DZ Records HQ. There's Ben Arguelles. I said that right?
Ben Arguelles.
I'm never going to say that right.
It's okay.
I'm in your driveway in Palos. We're outside your home, where inside is a home studio.
Mm-hmm.
And in the backyard, one of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you today, you have the DZ Fest in your backyard. Mm-hmm. This is the ultimate DIY. If you're tired of Lollapalooza and tired of Riot Fest, DZ Fest in your backyard. You have, is it 500 local bands playing? I'm exaggerating, but
it's 40, but
it seems like a lot.
It's definitely a lot, and they're not all local. It's grown to where there's local, there's Chicago, there's Wisconsin, we have Milwaukee, Detroit, Indianapolis, Texas, L.A., New York, from all over the country at this point, yeah.
And you're comfortable, clearly, letting strangers, bands, etc., know where you live as you put this on?
So I won't talk much about my background with my upbringing, but my family has always been very inviting and warm to people from all over, and it's always been an open door. We've always had a revolving door policy. Like, we didn't lock the door when I was growing up. People always just came over, my friends. So my whole life I kind of grew up with, like, being outdoorsy, being outside, having people over, parties, all the family reunions and birthday parties and graduations. Even if they weren't for the kids, we still had it here because it's a big yard. So, like, it's always been a bump in.
Yard.
It's a huge yard. It's an acre lot, and connected with the other acre lots, it feels even bigger, because it's kind of open. And even the neighbors have always been really cool with, like, play baseball if you go into our yard. We don't, like, no one really cares. It's a very old school kind of South Side Chicago area.
Yeah, but this is community. This is something, I got to be honest, I don't really know my neighbors. And it's something that drives me crazy. So when I hear you talk about that, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I've known them for a long time. My neighbors, used to watch me when I was a baby, and I've known all of them, a lot of them. I talked to them and waved to them, and
it's a lost practice, that sense of neighborhood and community and knowing whose kids are where and that whole thing. I think that's great. Mm-hmm. So I guess the next question is, the neighbors don't mind when you have 40 bands play over the course of a weekend? Because you've got a stage you're going to be
two stages, 2 days, 40 bands, 30 artists selling and presenting their artwork, 50 volunteers, and thousands of attendees. This is nuts. It is a little nuts. I've grown into it, like, because it's slowly started.
Wait, Pat Gleason says it's a South Side thing.
Sure is. It started off really slow, so it was. It slowly grew into it. It wasn't just like one day we did this.
Right.
And the neighbors have always had a fun time with it because everyone's got kids, and it's a very family-oriented event. A lot of kids. Well,
that was my next question. I mean, is it cool? Like, literally all ages.
It's all ages. I'd say it like during the evening when people start coming on, after work and the crowd gets a little bit more mature. I would recommend, if you have underage kids, maybe they start leaving, not because of anything too inappropriate, but it just gets a little. It's a concert. It gets a little, like, there's adults saying whatever, swearing, and the bands get a little bit crazier.
A little salty?
Yeah, just more mature, but it's nothing really inappropriate, I don't think. I just would recommend, I don't think kids should be here that late. But it's definitely, because it starts so early. It starts at noon. So for a good 7 hours, anybody who feels older or too young, they're totally fine and comfortable being here.
I want to say hi to Steve from Chicago Harley-Davidson in Glenview for watching.
Hi, Steve.
Radio hero Kara Karavu, who's watching as well. Now, the plan for tonight, this is Car Con Carne, and we eat as we record. The plan was to go to Peppo's, which is an institution out here.
Yeah, it's a classic sub place.
When I reached out to you, you're like, oh, yeah, we should go there.
Oh, yeah. Whenever I go visit my parents in Warsaw, Indiana, my mom always says, like, can you bring Peppo's? Because she grew up here, too, and they live 2 hours away. So she always wants it.
I've never been, and we're not eating at Peppo's because I wanted to see everything you have going on here. So I actually brought the food to you.
Yeah, thank you, by the way.
My pleasure. And wait, okay. There are 2 sandwiches in this bag. How heavy is that bag?
It's pretty heavy.
It's pretty heavy. You have a go-to order. Like, you knew exactly what you wanted.
That one? WL?
I think I had the...
This one's greasy, so I think it's pepperoni.
I don't know. Hang on.
They're both greasy.
I had a cheesesteak thing. That might be
That's
me.
you.
Mm-hmm.
That's you. Okay.
This is really heavy. All right. So I had I think it's like the Windy City cheesesteak. This is going to be a delight. You can probably see the grease. There it is. Oh, yeah.
I never had that. Cheesesteak?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. This is going to be fun to eat.
Dog Julin also watching. Hello, Dog.
So, as you know, having a beard and eating is not...
Oh, I love it because you get to enjoy the food later. I mean, it's...
My friends don't like it. They get really mad at me because I eat fast and I have a thick beard.
Look at this. Hang on, I need to hold this up for our Facebook Live people. Is just covered in onions and the guts.
That's the
guts. Yeah, that's their thing. I saw
that's
the
their staple is their guts.
So it looks like there might be jardinera on here, or actually, because we're on the south side, I would say jardiniere, right? Mm-hmm. You don't pronounce it with the once you're south of Congress Parkway. All right, so you got I forgot to tell me, it comes with pastrami, but they didn't have pastrami, so they just loaded whatever you ordered up with pepperoni. What is that? I'm asking you with food in your mouth.
This is the pepperoni Italian. It's usually a toasted pastrami, pepperoni, and provolone. My 3 favorites.
Okay, I'm already spilling all over.
It's a mess.
Like, you really need to be mindful as you eat this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a bite and I'm going to ask you more questions, but I need to... My stomach's growling on mic.
Oh, it's so good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's hard to eat with a mic, camera. You got headphones on.
Welcome to my world. Oh, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good sub. And I think the idea of a good sub has been ruined by fast food.
Oh, yeah. The idea of good food has been ruined by fast food.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so with DZ Fest, when you first got the idea, didn't you think, well, maybe I'm biting off more than I can chew, or how am I really going to pull this off? And how many years ago was that?
That was in 2012. Was the first year. So this is our 7th annual one.
So awesome.
And before that, in 2007, so 11 years ago, I came up with the idea with a friend, and I was 17. I'm 28 now. And that was kind of a fun idea, and we tried it. We brought some gear out, and we put it on the clubhouse in the back that's called the DZ, and that's kind of like the inspiration for everything, kind of a place to go and be yourself and kind of do your own thing and build stuff. I always like to build stuff, so we went back there.
You built all the stage?
Mm-hmm. We built everything, yeah.
Damn.
So I went back there, and we put like a drum kit on top of the DZ and a guitar amp, and I plugged it in. I got electrocuted, or shocked, I guess you'd say, because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was plugging in something into an ungrounded, 300-foot 16-gauge extension cord. Really bad idea to do that with a guitar amp.
This is how we learn.
And that's when it started. That inspired curiosity of like, okay, how do I do this? And years of like always talking like, one day we'll have a DZ Fest. Because I used, that's back when I like first went to Lollapalooza and Pitchfork. I was like, oh, this is so cool, but like it's different. It's more corporate feeling, in every way, shape, and form. And they're both great events, and I've always enjoyed them, but it's a different type of thing. So,
I have grease all over my shirt right now.
it's a messy meal, and over the years, I collected music equipment. Played in bands and got familiar with that, and was inspired by, other bands and their equipment. And before I knew it, I had all this stuff, and I was like, you know what? Let's just have our own fest. I wanted to be a carpenter when I was a child, so I always liked to build stuff, and I was like, let's just build the stage. Get some extension cords. When my mom and dad are out of town, let's just do it.
This is totally DIY.
And it was bad. Like the first one, this was 2012. Finally had enough bands that I knew. There's only 7 bands that played. They were all local from around here. just a couple of friends who helped out. We didn't have any shirts. We didn't have any food. We didn't have anything, really. I used some logs I cut down from a tree as the steps to get to the stage.
That's amazing.
Some way too high of wattage lamps for the stage that kept flipping the circuit breaker. Just everything you're not supposed to do that I've learned. And it started from there, and it kept going. And that's the same year we started the podcast, and I started DZ Records in 2010. So for 2 years, I was kind of just collecting gear and pipe dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of, the 2012 was like the turning point. I was like, okay, I'll start buying cameras, and we'll start doing sessions. And then I started kind of combining them all with the fest growing, you know.
Right.
Started filming it and started getting to know more bands about doing this.
Yeah, people can check out the videos from...
Yeah, on YouTube there's a lot of videos on the DZ Records YouTube channel you can check out.
Oh my God.
Good sub.
People are watching, and they're probably repulsed by me at this point. I have the paper under my chin just to catch all the detritus as I'm eating. This is a mess. It's delicious. Ryan says, "Give me whatever you're shoveling." I'm shoveling. I'm trying to eat quickly to keep up the conversation. It's a delicate balancing act, Ryan, because I want to be able to eat the food, but I have to keep the conversation going. It's very tricky. And by the time I get to recording the podcast, I'm always starving too, which adds another layer of complexity. All right, so here we are. I guess I should jump ahead. If someone already has their curiosity piqued, they've never been to DZ Fest, do they find out more by going to the Facebook page for DZ Fest?
Yeah, so you can go on the DZ Fest Facebook page or the DZ Records one. Mm-hmm. Now, for a lot of reasons, it's very discreet and not a lot of information's out there.
Do you need like a password?
No, it's very vague. It's like, oh, this is a music fest held in at DZ Records in Hickory Hills, Illinois, every like July, and that's pretty much all it has. For a lot of reasons, it's a private residence home in a neighborhood. To keep it from getting out of hand from the city, the police, everyone, to protect my neighbors. There's a lot of things people don't think about. Well, they just like the rise and fall of many DIY spots is they just kind of go for it, and then some have become very discreet where you only can really get into them if you know someone who knows like the secret address, Right. But that's kind of like what they do in Chicago. Chicago's very strict with it because it's as they should be. It's a very dangerous thing to be doing in those old buildings, But this is like, the backyard's not going to collapse or anything. It's not going anywhere.
It's 1 acre?
Yeah, it's 1 acre.
Damn.
Yeah.
This is great.
It's a great property.
So, we talked about starting. We talked about kind of finding your groove. What are some of your better DZ Fest memories? Like, what band moments or what on-stage things or even off-stage things kind of not only left a mark, but inspired you to keep on doing this and think, okay, I'm onto something?
Well, setting up is always a crazy time because it's become, around here for our friends, it's a very, a lot of friends and very old. Like, we've all been hanging out for 10, 15, 20, a very long time. So we're all kind of like brothers and sisters, and it kind of everyone grows up and goes their separate ways, right? So it kind of has become like a holiday family reunion for everyone. So
I get that.
Yeah. So everyone kind of like plans their vacation around. Everyone takes off work for a week before, during, and after, and we all meet up, and everyone helps paint, set up. Plenty of artists and people involved. That
sounds like fun.
It's a lot of fun. I always say it's a lot of fun. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's all this work. I'm on vacation," but I'm like, guys, this is fun. Like, no one else gets to do this, so like, we should have fun with it. That's always a great memory. It's extremely stressful and frustrating. There's so many elements against us. It's always an upward battle. Weather being the number one issue always.
And I should say, even though we're on mic and camera, watch that beard.
You like that? That happens all the time.
Looks a little mustardy.
I'm just talking with a bunch of mustard in my beard.
Again, welcome to my world. All right, so it is a coming together for you and your friends. It's really become... Wait, Maddie Rebel says, not the usual tiny little Mazda. I promise you, this is a tiny little Mazda. This is the Mazda 3. It's very comfortable. You're comfortable, right? Yeah, that's right. Let's talk about some of the bands who are playing this year. I have the list in front of me. 8-Bit Creeps.
Mm-hmm.
We adore them. I mean, it's just all across. Bow and Spear, who I think are absolutely fantastic. Bad Bad Meow, returning.
Mm-hmm.
What a fun live band. They're headlining the first night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to read names because you can't talk. Harvey Dentures, Terroir, Strawberry Jacuzzi. I mean, what a blast. The Roll Dolls, Harvey Fox.
A lot of good bands.
So when do you
A
start?
lot of good friends, too.
When do you start reaching out? When do you start booking?
Oh, man. I have a separate file of bands I just kind of compile over the years that I just see and I'm like, they're amazing. Like, but I usually start emailing bands in January.
I'd imagine you're at a point, though, where bands are talking to you like, hey, next year.
Yeah, it gets a little hectic. A lot of bands, and because it's such a warm and DIY community, it's really challenging to balance that and say yes to some,
Sure.
maybe to others, no to others. It's hard, and not everyone understands that about it. But yeah, I started booking bands in January and artists around the same time. It takes 6 months to finalize the bands, the artists, and the volunteers.
You're doing this all yourself.
Yeah.
Is this all you do? This in the studio? Is this?
So I do this.
I can't imagine you have time to do anything else.
Well, I'm going to be teaching in the fall at Illinois State University. I'll be commuting down there to teach in the arts and technology department.
Okay.
I just finished school, so I was doing school at the same time, and that was both.
Your plate is full.
Yeah, very full. I don't really do anything else. It's kind of my life, but I really love it, and I've met some of the best people ever, the most talented people. The bands, it's just not even just the bands, but the people involved, like the artists that come through that help decorate, the artists that sell their artwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that a lot of people always overlook, that it's like a music and arts festival too. But yeah, the bands, it's so hard now because there's so many great bands I can't fit 40. I was like, I wish we can do 100, you know.
Just as you have bands talking to you, like, hey, are you looking for the trash bag?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in here.
Okay, let's bust that out. But as you have fans reaching out saying, hey, can we do this show?
Yeah.
Have you reached a point with this, with awareness or whatever, where anyone said to you, how'd you like to relocate this? Has anyone wanted to co-opt this? I feel like if it hasn't happened, it's coming.
I've had some people saying, like, oh, maybe we should try a venue. Mm-hmm. And every time I hear about a venue, or you might have to move it to like a park somewhere and have like do it all the legal route.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like they'll just take away from it, and I kind of get bummed out. I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. Like,
because
even if I'm
special.
Not selling out, it's just it's like this. You know, we're eating food in a car with microphones. If someone it has stickers all over it promoting and having like the name of it. What if someone's like when you first came out, I was like, oh, do we do this in the house? And you're like, it's got to be in the car. What if I was like, no, we have to do it in the house? You'd start to feel bad. You'd be like, but I do it. This is how I do it.
Yeah, it fundamentally changes the thing that makes it interesting or cool or that makes you passionate about it.
Yeah,
this is my dumb idea, and I'm going to ride it to the end. Yeah, this is your great idea.
No, this is a great idea. I'm loving this. I'm like, this is so interesting.
Your roommates are looking at me like I've.
That's funny. They all knew about it because a lot of them are connected to the Facebook page, so they saw your messages.
Okay.
So they are completely aware.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I don't know. I worry about it.
I felt like I was busting like some indie party walking in.
Oh, no. Yeah. In order to have a party, it's got to be over about 40 people. Otherwise, it's just considered a hangout.
It is just.
We have too many events going on here, but
did I see someone drinking a Hams?
You sure did. You definitely will see a Hams or a old style.
Okay,
definitely. Hey, I don't know what to do about the future of it because it does keep growing, and I'm hoping my only way to keep it here is to promote it less and less to where it keeps the head count and the attendee count
right
at a certain couple thousand, because the only way you know about it is if you know about it, and people talk about it. It's not really because there's no websites, completely off the grid, and I'll have someone who lives down the street will message me on Facebook I lived down the street this whole time and I never knew this happened, and I'm so confused. You do this in your backyard? And they're a block away. So I'm for the protection of myself, my neighbors, the city, and I kind of like the idea of it just like spontaneous kind of thing that just occurs and then it goes away. But it doesn't, though, because we have shows every month to promote the bands and the band and to promote kind of DZ Fest and DZ Records. And we have the shows every month. We have the podcast every week. We have the video sessions. We record albums, like anything with audio and video.
You have so much going on. I love it. And, as someone myself, someone who loves the local music scene, this to me just spoke to me. This is, especially because it's not in city limits. I love that this is this really cool DIY thing happening on the outskirts. I think that's clearly it's a needed thing.
Yeah, I always, I found it interesting because I've gone to like a lot of DIY shows in Chicago, and they're really great, but they, because of a lot of obvious things, they don't last very long. They pop up and they go away. A lot of it started by college students, and then when they realize, to be blunt, there's no longevity in doing this unless you sell out, unless you become a grumpy old businessman who like has to be cutthroat and upset people. You kind of have to stop. You're like, well, I'm 24 now. I'm not making any money. I'm upsetting my neighbors. The cops keep giving me tickets. That person keeps throwing up in my bathtub. Drunk kids, like underage kids, are not coming in here, and that's getting sketchy. So it ends. It ends. It's 6 months to a year, and it ends, and it just keeps ending. But this hasn't. And another thing I take very seriously, and I emphasize it to the main people who help out, is like, this is going to sound really goofy, but like being sober. You kind of
totally agree.
You can't participate in anything if you're going to be doing these events, because you have to make sure it happens. And if police do come, they respect and trust the sober home, owner or renter way more than the belligerent jerk who's just like mouthing off to them and throwing up in the garbage can.
That's
that's how you kind of get away with it. And the same thing with the neighbors. You go and you tell them beforehand. You talk to them, and you mow their grass when they're out of town. You do these types of things, and you work with each other on it, and you can kind of get away with more,
For sure. We exist on a favor economy.
We really do.
It's a back-scratching world.
It sure is.
So the studio in the basement, you're always working with bands. Who the most recent band you worked with?
So this band, I'm working on a record with them. We're almost done, called the Daisy Heaves. They're from Chicago. A band before them, a couple weeks ago, a record I did with this band called Birth Rates. They're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That was a fun time. I have a video session tomorrow with a band. I forget where he's from. There's a lot of bands, like, they're very vague, but they'll be like on tour from like a small town outside of another small town, and you're just like, they're from Kentucky. That's all I know. Right. But it's really interesting because I'm always like, I love the fact that people communicate and pass out along the information just through hanging out with your text, because again, there's no website, very little information on DZ Records.
Coolest.
So much so that people will message and be like, hey, like, where is this place? Or how much is the event? I'm so confused. There's no information. And I'm like, well, and then I have to answer it. So it's kind of interesting, but I'm really excited for DZ Fest this year because there's more genres and more styles performing this year than we've ever had before. And there's like electronic bands, there's salsa bands, there's R&B, there's punk rock, there's experimental, there's indie rock, there's alternative rock, there's blues. It's just like, it's all over the place. There's so many different types of people from all different backgrounds, and I'm really excited for having more bands from surrounding states and cities come
I think
through.
that's really cool too. Yeah, that's super cool. All right, so who do you think the sleeper is?
The sleeper? Like,
for this year's event,
like a band you like sleep through?
No, the band that's going to just completely shock people. Like,
the band that's going to completely shock people. Well, that's a band that I have kind of going last for a reason. Harvey Fox. They're one of my favorite bands, and a lot of my friends like them, but they're all like, "Are they big enough to headline?" And I'm like, I went to see them perform at Kohl's, Kohl's in Chicago, in Logan Square, and I just randomly went to a show one day they were playing, and it blew my mind. And I see a lot of bands. I meet a lot of bands, so if something catches my attention, I'm like, okay, they played last year, but they played at like 3 p.m. or 2 p.m. They played early. They played a show here, and every time they play, I'm like, man, these people are great. They captivate the crowd. The crowd like sings their lyrics and moves to them, which is not always common for like local stuff. So I was like, you know what? Like, who cares if they're not well known? Like, they're very talented. They're very organized. Like, they're a very fused band. Their rhythm and the melody and kind of jive together very well. And they're never off. There's never any what's the word, glitches or off, like no offness in like their performance.
They get up,
it's
they get
tight.
it done. Yeah.
It's like they're playing like on a stadium in front of like 10,000 people. Like that's how they perform, but they're not doing that. And I just was very impressed with them, and they're very nice people. And I was like, yeah. So they're one that people kind of know, but I think they are totally deserving of where they're playing. And another really good band that I'm excited for is Cordoba. They're kind of like an experimental jazz band, like at least seven members, maybe six. But they're not too big, but they're so talented. You could tell, like, okay, they're definitely trained musicians. They're just so good. The singer, the saxophone player, the guitar player, they're phenomenal.
I love a good horn player.
Yeah,
sax.
No, they're very good, but they're not. They're like very contemporary, like indie rock, experimental jazz, where they kind of mesh everything I like. Yeah, so.
All right, so the secret is kind of out, but it's still a secret. DZ Fest here in the far-flung suburbs, not too far of a drive from Peppo's.
No, it's 3 miles.
My hands are
greasy,
slick.
yeah, a little greasy. Yeah.
But they smell delicious. They've got that kind of peppery
garlic, salt, vinegar,
yeah.
oil.
It works for me. It's a fetching scent. I'm going to obsess about the fact I mispronounced your name for the rest of the night, so please forgive me for that earlier transgression.
It's okay.
Okay. Sorry about that. So this podcast, Howard Windmiller, he himself, a local musician and also a club owner, says, sounds cool. It is Howard Windmiller. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, Howard.
No, not Mighty Blue Kingish. Peck Leeson wants to know about the band you were just talking about. I'm thinking more Tortoise than Mighty Blue Kings. The band you described, the kind of indie jazzy.
Oh, indie jazz. Like, I'm not quite sure who they might be sounding. That's why I think they stand
That's
out.
a good thing.
They're kind of their
Yeah.
own thing,
That's a really good thing.
You want me to say when the fest is for anybody?
I didn't know. I was afraid we gave too much information. It's in July.
July 7th and 8th.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Saturday and Sunday from noon until about 10:30. That's when the last band's supposed to end, give or take. It's all ages, although I recommend towards the evening you bring the young ones out.
Peel the kids off.
Yeah. There's plenty of artwork here if you want to look at it or purchase it from people from all over the country. 40 bands, 2 stages, 20 each day. There's a merchandise table for bands that sell their merchandise. We also sell some DZ Fest posters. And we just have a suggested donation at the door, whatever you want to donate, because,
This is the coolest.
whatever you want to donate at the door. So, and then there's free water, so no one gets dehydrated. And there's porta potties if you need to use the washroom. And
this is the coolest. So again, the Facebook page would probably be the place to go.
Yeah, you can. There's a Facebook event. You could find it on the DZ Records Facebook page. You could find it I believe on the DZ Fest Facebook page too. And again, it's July 7th and 8th from noon to, we'll say, 11 p.m.